just got a little bit of sunshine coming through, and look how the light hits the front of that guard. Yeah, first panels are going onto into the bed. I've got them all now from the panel beast. They even kindly dropped off the big hard lid and the tonneau. So I have no idea I would have brought that home anyway. Got one of their staff to stand up inside the van to make sure it didn't fall over on the trip over here. So much appreciated. It looks like the sun's fading, but you can still see it. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Starting to get the real picture of it now, aren't we? So great to see it back on its wheels. If you're wondering why I can't get it in shot, it's because I've got my back up against the toolbox and the drill press, and I really need a camera with a wider angle lens. So I stopped at the old cash converters. I was surprised how cheap they are. You can pick them up for 300 Australian dollars with a lens with a low f-stop, which would be maybe something I'll look at buying just to use in the workshop. Even this has got a spot. This is a better camera than I normally use in the workshop. It's our travel camera, and managed to get some dirt inside the lens, and it costs more to have it cleaned because it's just a compact camera than the camera's worth. Oh, I don't know if that's going to show up or not. Anyway, the steps came out really well. Originally that was just I put 3 beads in the middle to match the 3 beads in the cab, but it made it completely impractical, and it just looked a bit out of place. So I also went with the flat, which is the same as the original were flat, but still only had 3. I've increased it to 5, and I remade the top of these steps in case those that had seen my updates before the teardown. So yeah, it's all come together really nicely. Everything's bolted up. I left clearance for every single hole, so I haven't had to file out screw holes and whatnot. So getting close to just waiting on the tailgate to come back, and then it can all be finished. So I can even take it out of here before the tailgate arrives. So there's a bit of delay on that. So the next thing is you can see all the Raptor lining all the way to make it nice and practical. And I even put it around the fuel filler. I've got just put the hinges in place, ready for the hard tonneau, and the hinge points for the actuators, the electric actuators. And so I'm just working on here now. Got them even to paint the actuators. That's why they're black now instead of anodized silver. So I've just got my first strip down. As you can see, I lay out lines with using a white grease pencil, normally used on fabric and things like that. Well, not necessarily, it's a white grease pencil. And I'm using a double bulb. So this sits up about 1/4 inch, 6mm, and I wanted to compress it to about half of that. So that should make a nice seal being double. I don't think you'll ever seal it 100% with wing pressure and everything. But yeah, I like everything nice and straight, so I've calculated out to put the lines in. So everything goes to the one side. The painter came up with an idea. I was just going to do the whole underside black, and he goes, oh, maybe do the frame in the paint just as a bit of a highlight, because I wasn't prepared to pay for the hours to fully do the underside for something that's going to be closed most of the time. So there was little cost difference in painting the frames. So because this is all one piece, so this piece goes up, across, and then I rolled it all the way around there and up the other side, and then you've got a separate piece that's added in there, but that's all part of the skin. So that's what keeps it lightweight. think it keeps it looking more professional, as a manufacturer might have done with very expensive presses, and I did it, you know, clamped over a half piece of pipe. Literally got a piece of pipe, cut it down in half, tack welded a base onto it and pulled it over. So yeah, progress. Nice. Seals are on. Getting photobombed again. She hears me talk, wants to know what's going on. Middle of winter here, so she's nicely fluffed up. I prefer the mitered corners. I think it's much more professional looking than just sort of back sort of two right angles. Also, when you've got hollow bulb seals, and all your automotive ones are, the dust and everything can get inside if you've just got an open end, and to even look at an open end looks terrible. So I use a little bit of super glue to just put on the edges there all the way around and close it up, and then that becomes sealed to each other, and then you've also got a little bit of an air chamber in there. So you've got to pick your points, like on the door where I know I was squashing most of the seal. Down the bottom I allowed it so some of the air I didn't glue the entire thing. I made sure air could escape, and that's why you find the little holes often on the side of an automotive one on the inside where it can't suck dust out, but it will let the air pressure out of the bulb itself. But this is pretty thin walled, which is why I chose it, because then it will compress more when the hard tonneau comes down. But yeah, another step. So I'll sweet talk my lovely wife into helping me lift this on, and then I can bolt it all up and Bob's your uncle. So, all glued. It all came out really nicely. Cool. If you're wondering what these holes are for, and I've got them on that cross member as well, it's because when it's upside down, this is the bottom, and so any condensation that lands in the channel under here or under there has got some way of dripping out outside the seal area, and so you don't end up with water in this forward edge, because this is the bottom when it is tilted up, and also be pointing down with the rake of the vehicle normally. So unlike a bonnet, it doesn't get the same amount of heat, especially during the winter time, to evaporate off. So I've drilled drainage holes to make sure that any moisture that gets in there has got a way out. And I'd also coated all that with zinc spray before assembling all that together, and even before it went to paint, because I knew they couldn't be able to get in there. So all that was painted beforehand before I assembled, and so it makes sure it's going to last as long as possible. The Windex I find it a great product just to get rid of, making sure there's no grease along here. It doesn't leave a residue, it just evaporates off. She doesn't know she's on camera. There she is. Tell her she doesn't like being on camera. So the plan is we have to turn that around. Stop hiding. So I can get around this corner. So move the welder and then lean it on there while someone goes to the other side, and then drops it on top carefully. We'll see what happens. Towards the tailgate. Okay, a bit more. Alright, so tilting it over. Got to me a little bit. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't slide inside it.
No.
Maybe if you climb inside.
Yep.
And then,
Hold it.
yep, I've got hold of it. You don't need to use it at all. You're right, or do you need a step?
I'm just going to put this down because then I can.
Yep.
Yep. Oh.
So just keep an eye on the back of the cab and keep it parallel with that.
Yeah. Let me just rest it for a sec.
Take your time. Right, so you're right there now?
Yep.
Okay. And if I hold this,
Yep, sorry.
and then you climb out.
Yep. Use that to.
Yeah, no, you can roll your weight on that, no problem at all. That's it, beautiful. Alright, I don't know what's easier. It's probably easier taking that side so you don't have to lean over as far.
Yep.
Alright. How far are you in?
So that far.
Yeah, so come towards me about another inch. Alright. Something like that. Yep, that'll do. So the only thing I'd like to do is to pull out the towels. So if I climb in and just lift it up one side up, you pull the towels out.
You just make sure it's in the right.
That's right, I'll be concentrating, it doesn't move left or right.
Yeah, I want you to check now that it's actually in the right spot.
It doesn't have to be in the exact spot.
Right.
I'll worry about that tomorrow.
Okay.
It's sitting on the rubber, so,
That's what
but
matters.
I think it'd be too hard to hold it, pull it up one hand and pull that towels.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let that one fall in.
You're right.
Yeah. Making sure my hip doesn't hit.
Oh, yeah. Just watch your legs on the tablets.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Hey, it doesn't look like something. First time. I don't know if this is still recording or not, probably not. Are we still recording? Oh, we're still recording, amazing. Sorry that it's dusty, but it's the first time I've seen the top. So, yeah, we got it on, as you have seen. Obviously it's got to come back a fair bit, but apart from that, yeah, success. Well, it's the next day. Just some quick positioning, and then I already had the hinges bolted up inside, so all I had to do was lift them and then put the bolts through the holes and it holds its position. It was actually harder to put the actuators on because I've put little washers each side, little felt ones, so it stays nice and tight in there. So without further ado, here we go. So I was a little worried that it might take the affect the paint going up and down, but it seems to be alright. I mean, it's not hydraulic, so you don't have to worry about it. A seal as such, it's just to keep the dust out. I have to remember not to put it up when the garage door is open because it will hit it. So not that it lives in here anyway, so hopefully not too distant. This weekend, maybe, if the weather is good, I'll can put it in the garage where it belongs. So there's the fuel filler from those that don't remember how I had it set up. So that's done. Nice and quick. And the seal seems to be working perfectly. Bingo. Nice. Nice and quiet, nice and controlled. And a really good seal. I've put light on the inside to see if I could see any showing through anywhere, but nothing. It's nice and straight. So, I mean, I spent a lot of time trying to get that perfectly straight. So, yeah, I'm happy. Really good. Well, that's a good sign. The box I made to put in shopping and that sort of thing when I go to the shops, or a pair of camp chairs when I'm sitting at an event or something, keep myself comfortable. I didn't want stuff sliding all around in here, so most of you will probably remember me making out of this all out of stainless steel. So it's all 316 and only 0.6. I think that's about 22 gauge. So pretty hard stuff to stop from distorting. So yeah, I B-rolled all that in there. This is an ink signature often used pre-war in that, with that logo and everything on it. So there's a bit of everything going on in here. So yeah, good sign when that's in. So yeah, it's the last thing to add apart from the tailgate, which I'm waiting for it to come back. And I've got all that rubber lined, so there's no drumming and no worry about things sliding it down around and leaving dents in the stainless. Talk about getting close, eh? All worked out. She's fine. So yeah, another piece of the puzzle.